blimey, is it hot or what? I tell you, brilliant to be back. Here we are, series 2 of the Hair Show. I hope you all missed us. And if there's ever a night to be sat in your garden watching this, this is the night. So let us know. Tell us where you're watching it. Are you hanging out in the garden watching it? What's your tipple? It's good to be back, though. We've really missed it, and we're now bringing these to you. Yeah, every series, 10 episodes, and it's just so good. I know we missed it so much. So, yeah, tonight, it's your conversation. As I always say, get involved, bring your conversations to the show. So is there something you want us to talk about? Put it in the comments below, all right? Plenty of likes, plenty of loves, plenty of shares, all right? The more you do that, the more Facebook loves it and the bigger it gets. And I'm seeing so many regular faces here already. Alina, she's there. Sarah, we've got Lee, we've got Lynette. Hi, Lynette. Emma's there. Great to see you. So we're going to be flagging up those comments. So what have we got coming your way tonight? Well, I'm going to have a little look at my screen to the side of me as we bring you what is coming up on tonight's show. So whack in a bit of that. So coming up on tonight's The Hair Show, Series 2. Yes, number 1. We start again for this new series. Well, we have World Hair News. She may be in her motherland of Cyprus, but she's still done her news for us. She's been picking out the stories that have been grabbing her eye. So we're bringing that to you shortly. How to with the incredible Paul Davey of Hairdressing Live. Got a great haircut to share with you tonight. Rock Up and Share, this is where we showcase the stars. Daryl, Starkey Gettins, we love that lad, and Jack Mead, 2 big regulars of our show. We have hairdressing horror stories. Wow, this is great, and George is taking this to another level, so dead excited by that. As well, coming up in the conversations tonight is how to cut it. Yeah, we are going to be bringing you a podcast because I'm now videoing the How to Cut It podcast. We've got a great subject there, and I've just seen I missed an E off my surname. James Atkinson is joining me for that. We've got live conversations. I can't keep saying that enough, and this is what I know many of you love. Discussions. What's happening in the weeks of hair? What's going on out there? What's happening in your salon? Is there something we need to know? We're also naming the winner of E-Blade, the scissor. But who is that? Who is going to win that incredible prize up for grabs? So be sure to stay tuned. This is your show, the Hairdresser Show, and it really is that show. And I am really excited tonight. So let me just turn that sound off. I'm really excited tonight because coming up on tonight at the Hair Show, we have got a new host. So I'm going to bring in our 2 hosts tonight, and somebody you're going to recognise, and somebody, if you watched the first show, you may have recognised them because they were in there. They've done a review. So onto the screen, here they come, Georgia Bell and Jemima Cousins. How you both doing?
Hi. How you doing, Dom?
Yeah, hot. How are you feeling there, George?
Sweltering.
yeah, it's very warm, but I'm pleased to be back at it. I have missed you lovely lot watching on Facebook tonight. So yeah, I'm pleased to be bringing back the series 2 of the Hair Show. How quick has that gone?
Yeah, it's mega. So come on then, Jemima. I was going to give the introduction really to who you are, but I thought, you know what? You give the introduction. Tell everybody about yourself and what's your background in the industry?
Okay, well, my background it largely stems from magazines. I've been embroiled in doing hair beauty magazines for the past, oh my goodness, maybe going on over 10 years now. I'm currently the editor of Style magazine. It's a fresh title, be it that it's for young millennials, Generation Z, and the focus really, again, is a heavy leaning towards Afro hair. And what I'd like to say is that we really just get into the nitty gritty of it, we really go to town with, exploring new methods, new techniques, and where I fit in with the magazine is that we've got a great relationship with a lot of salons and hairdressers, so we do feature a lot of Black hairdressers imagery. We work with them on a grand scale. So
I think what's really cool actually, Jemima, because I first connected with you at the British Hairdressing Awards, and we really got on well, liked you a lot, and you came on to our very first The Hair Show, didn't you? Which we've done on YouTube actually, and Jemima came on, and we were so blown away by Jemima, and she had a lovely presence. So I always said to her, look, you're going to come on and co-host. So we finally got you to do that.
How many years has it been?
Whoa, I don't know. I think that was 2 years ago, but 3 years ago. Gosh, who knows? But we just connected, and I think what you bring is so much great knowledge, certainly from the world of sort of, people of colour, and you talk so openly. And I know when Black Lives bubbled up, and I got on the phone to you, didn't I? And one of the questions that I asked Jemima was about, I needed to be more educated in who were the hairdressers kind of out there. And I think sometimes we feel too divided. I mean, but you named some great names for me.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of been like a personal quest of mine to try and put more black hairdressers on an open platform and show people what's being done. It's sometimes a bit frustrating, be it that when new methods, techniques come out and it's like, oh, this is a brand new trend. And it's like, well, hold on. In terms of when it comes to Afro hair and what's been going on in the salons, I mean, it's been around for years, but it doesn't get the media coverage, it doesn't get the love. And that's for many reasons that maybe we can explore another day.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got loads coming up, George, and I think the thing about the show, isn't it? It is everybody's show, isn't it, George? And getting everybody involved and hearing their comments and what they'd like to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what people talk about and the comments they bring on the show, it actually gives us an idea of what we need to be showcasing to you all. So yeah, it is your show, and if there is anything that you guys want to talk about or any subject you want to raise, that's why we love doing the live interaction with you, because it really keeps it genuine and going strong, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've just seen a comment there. I'll just flag that up again. Daniel Couch, how are you, Daniel? I'm so happy to finally have the time to watch. And I think this is the thing. This is why we moved it to 8 o'clock. So keep them comments coming in. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep loving. We're going to keep looking at this. Hi, the guys at Pivot Point UK. Hi there. Hey, we all love your head blocks, isn't it? I think you guys, produce. Anyway, we're going to carry on. So, as I mentioned, Jordana, isn't with us tonight, but it doesn't mean she's not here. She's whilst loving it in Cyprus, and hi to you, Jordana. Hope you're having a wonderful time. She's in this video you'll see she is looking like right in the holiday mood, but she has done the World Hair News for us. So, without further ado, we're going to hand over to World Hair News with Jordana Cabela. So here we go.
Welcome back to the world of hair news. I'm here broadcasting from Cyprus, visiting the motherland and my family. So thank you for joining us tonight. England, Ireland, Wales and Scotland's safety guidelines with regards to wearing a mask and a visor differ greatly. A recent change in the guidelines for England outlined that visors are mandatory and cannot be replaced with a mask, while Scotland ministers advise masks are more protective for clients and visors are just optional. As of August the 8th, all clients must legally wear a mask for the entire duration of hair and beauty services. Sky News reports that the visors provide little protection to the hairdressers and beauticians and should be worn with a mask, according to scientists. Now, the 15th of August also marks the date for all facial treatments to resume. News topic number 2. Are root perms finally making a comeback? Earlier at the start of the year, rumours circulated that root perms were actually making a comeback. The treatment, which was an absolute hit in the 80s, involves lifting at the roots rather than wrapping the hair around the rods. It's often done with rods with a Velcro middle and a rubber band attachment to secure the hair. A perfect fix for lifeless hair in need of volume and lift. Now, salons across the UK have prepared for the modern root perm, but statistics show that clients deem their hair condition and colour to be threatened if they opt for it. Let us know what you think. News topic number 3. A 23-year-old Stacey student who suffers from alopecia has created headpieces made out of human hair to help others identify with the emotional pain of hair loss. Fleur says, having been diagnosed with alopecia since she was 18, it was a pivotal time for her in finding identity as it removed all aspects of her femininity. Since then, she has changed her perspective and made it her life mission to help others overcome their emotional loss related to alopecia. And that's all from me today.
I so enjoy that news. We all just sit here. By the way, when you're watching that, me, myself, Jemima, and Georgia sat here in the green room, just looking in, watching it. So where should we kick off with what Jordana covered there, George?
Well, do you know what? I think the perm is seriously going to make a comeback, and I don't perm, so I need to learn how to perm. So if there's anyone on here tonight that wants to show me how to perm, I would love to come and do a class with you, because you know what? In the last week, I'm not going to lie, I probably had about 15 phone calls from people wanting a perm, and we're a colour house. So yeah, I think it is going to make a huge comeback. What do you think, Jemima?
It's interesting you say that. I hear the word perm and it's like, no, stay away. It belongs in the 80s.
Is it really that frightening of a word then, Jemima, when you hear the word perm? I mean, what the hell can we call it? I mean, we all still know it as a perm, surely.
I mean, again, yeah, perm, I mean, it's a chemical treatment, and I know that there's a drive now, looking for more organic, natural products. And what I've noticed in terms of work, and when brands are sending through, their new products for the salons, they've actually rebranded it and they're calling it a curl softener as opposed to a perm, because when it comes to Afro hair, as I said, you hear the word perm, it's an instant no. You're thinking chemicals, you're thinking breakage, you're even linking it to the chemical treatment relaxing. It's actually belongs in the same family. So, as I say, I'm not too.
Do you know,
sure.
I think you just lost you a minute there, Jemima, but hopefully you'll come back in again. It can be a little bit of a connection problem, but don't worry on that. I'll just take you out for a second. I'll just say to you, really, George, that so often we hear the word perm, and I'm just hearing what Jemima was saying there, and it almost becomes a bit of it's a dated word. But I remember people never used the word barber, because that was deemed to be uncool. If it becomes cool again, then perm becomes cool again.
Yeah, I mean, things do the round, don't they? So it could be a case of a little bit of rebranding. But I mean, I know for the past 10 years, everyone's been threatening that the perm's going to come back, and it hasn't yet. But I do feel like, if there is a natural shift of changing from colour to, haircuts, movement, shape, people are going to want volume, they're going to want curl, so they're going to want the styling aspect of a cut or a finish. So that's why I think it will end up making its way, whether it is.
I'd have to say, yeah, if someone said to me there was a benefit to it, as in it will make your curls more defined, or it's by doing it you're using less heat, I think I'd sign up to it.
Yeah, and generally speaking, your clients will sit in your chair and they won't say, they'll say, oh, my hair's so flat, or, I can't get any body with my hair. So no amount of colour or cut is really going to change that. It has to be a service that's actually going to improve
it.
Hair field,
I think we keep losing you at the moment, Jemima, but we won't fear not. I think you've just dropped. It must be the curse of the right-hand side of our screen, George? That there you are. Don't worry too much about it.
There we go. She's back.
It's going to do that. So, yeah, I think so. Look, a lot of you are talking about perms, and just to remind you all, we are live, and we have to rely on Skype to use this particular software. And whilst it's great, this software, but Skype can be a bit of hit and miss. So if internet traffic becomes a bit busy at certain times, some people may drop out. So if that happens, we kind of know it happens from time to time. We just sit with it and it balances itself out. So no major there. So just sort of bear with that. I'm just bringing in a comment. So you're all on perms at the moment. I think perms are like Marmite, Lynette says. Yeah, I agree kind of with that. We have a few clients, Alini says, we have a few clients that have perms, and Alini based in Cyprus. Christopher, I did quite a few perms on lads' hair. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Lads have been, I know I won't say it might embarrass him, but I know a lot of my lads' schoolmates have been having, perms on the top, isn't it? Very tight around the sides of the back. So, and we were just saying, weren't we, Jemima, about perms? And when I did an interview with Zoe Irwin for a Weller podcast, and they talked about, the trends and the revival of the perm in the 70s. And they said it kind of came from Disco Studio 54, the black women were there and big hair, and then the white girls were looking on thinking, I want that. And whether we're seeing that again, because I know you've talked regularly about natural textured hair has been embraced.
Yeah. I mean, again, lockdown's proven that, isn't it? Everybody's sort of being forced to, go back to their natural locks, and whether it, be it they're wearing it in a wavy form or, however your hair is structured, whether it's a tight curl, and you're having to learn how to manage, your hair again, not relying on chemicals. Can't just go to your hairdressers down the road. We're having to reconnect with, the hair that's truly coming out of our scalps. And perhaps that's prompted the move to, discovering perms again, because, fingers crossed that we ride the wave of what's happening in the world. But, we might have to start finding other solutions. I had something...
We could talk about perms all night here, actually.
Yeah,
but the one thing that I will say, I think brands haven't invested in perms for years, since the 80s. And actually, they haven't done it because they've not seen a market there. But if the market begins to grow, then brands will put all their energy. And I'd be really interested to see what brands will come up with. And I'm going to put my head on the block. I think perms are going to be big. Whether we call them perms or what, texturizing, jetting, the smell, Lynn says, but I think brands will work it out. And they'll put the money in if the money's going to come back.
And I have to just add, I think the reason to it is because in years to come, majority of the population is predicted to be mixed race. And with that being the case, it's going to be textured hair, it's going to be curls, coils. I think brands are projecting to the future and investing in more natural, more curly hair-based products to meet that demand, as you say.
George, have you permed?
I don't perm.
You never permed? When you say I don't perm, if someone comes in and says, look, George, I want a perm.
I say, you need to go somewhere else, mate.
Right. Is that what you would say? Right.
No, I will.
Who's going to train George on how to perm?
Yeah, I'll always recommend a really good place, but it's just not my bag. I just turn to colour. But I would like to learn, actually. It's just something that I've just shied away from.
Yeah, well, okay. But I tell you what, I remember in the 80s, and I don't mean to be harping back to the date, it was huge business for salons. The money, I tell you, there's big business in perm, so don't dismiss it as an industry. I tell you, it is. Right, anyway, thank you, Jordana. You've got some great subjects there. We're going to get into our first piece of hair and how-tos. And George, I'll let you introduce this how-to.
Okay, so we have got the fantastic Paul Davey from Hairdressing Live doing a fantastic cut tutorial. So without further ado, I'll let you take it away, Dom.
Hello everybody at the Hair Show. I am privileged to be here to share with you one of my haircuts from Elements Education Manual. Elements is designed to simplify education for the salon owner, for the educator and for the student themselves to follow an education throughout a 3 to 4 year period. Elements covers cutting, colouring, hair up and theory. The book is available on hairdressinglive.com. The haircut I'm going to be sharing with you today is called the seamless layering technique. It is a haircut which is often used on the salon floor. It takes anything from about 30 minutes to 40 minutes to complete. You're going to be learning sectioning, pivoting radial sections, over direction, club cutting and point cutting. In addition to that, we are going to share with you a very quick blow drying technique. It takes you anything from about 5 to 10 minutes to complete. Very, very useful on the salon floor. So first off, we section the hair with a parting from the center forehead right the way through to center nape. So 2 diagonal forward sections are taken and then clip out of the way. subdivide the hair off right the way through the middle. And what we're going to be doing is combing the hair down natural hair fall through the comb and cutting our straight line. It's important when working that body position and elevation play a crucial part of this haircut. What we're trying to do is keep all the hair nice and square from behind the head. Body position, if you move to the side, will reflect on this line. So what our plan is to stay directly behind the head and over direct the hair towards you to keep this line nice and clean. Elevation, if you elevate the hair out, you will then create graduation. What I mean by graduation is you get hair appearing underneath and you will not get this nice structured line. Therefore, if you keep zero elevation and cut through a comb, you get that line nice and clean. So I'm going to continue and cut the opposite side. The layering technique is designed to add a lot more versatility through the top so the hair can move and has the freedom to sort of be more versatile. It also gives you a little bit more structure and a little bit more length through over direction. What we do first, we actually section the hair in a vertical profile section, possibly the width of the comb, taken from the crown area right the way through to the nape. So our sectioning 90 degrees from the crown to the occipital bone. So we take a nice clean section and we elevate it 90 degrees from the crown and the occipital bone. I'm going to be point cutting. Seamless layer means it's seamless, it's softer.
There we are. There we are. Wow. Paul Davey. Can I just say, I'm just picking up on the comments. So that is part one of the how-to. So Paul is coming back with a second part to this. So you'll be able to finish the look. Just big hi there, Carolina. She's just saying, Paul, high fives. Lovely to see you, Carolina. Hope you're great. And Paul has got a lot of love, hasn't he, George, in the industry?
Yeah, he was amazing. He runs a fantastic thing called Hairdressing Live, which is an educational platform. And I was just saying about his haircut, it reminds me so much of like a modernised 70s shag cut. And I think heavy layers are making such a comeback as well right now.
Yeah, now Jordana's watching it. Hi, Jordana. I hope you're lovely and chilled there and not cooking here in the UK. I bet she's got a lovely glass by her side. So she just says, I just love as much hair around the face as possible. Feeling the 70s vibe at the moment. Are you seeing that, Jemima, with your magazine? Is that something maybe starting to just show through?
Honestly, no.
Great.
But I'd have to say with... it always blows my mind listening to hairdressers and be it the sheer detail that goes into a cut. I mean, it almost sounds like geometry, elevation, angle.
All right, you know, I'm gonna stop you right there. Okay, do you find that actually a bit over the top? Do you think we overcomplicate things?
Not at all. No, because you know, devil's in the detail, isn't it? And you know, you want precision, you want something to be exact at the end of the day. You don't want a 75-degree fringe.
Unless you do want a 75-degree fringe, you never know.
Let's bring it in, Jordan, let's bring it in.
What do you like with your hair then, Jemima? Are you really particular about where you go, the looks that you like?
It's interesting because maybe more so when I was younger, you know, you're caught up on it having to be exact. It's got to look like that. It's got to look like how Beyonce is.
It's that thunderstorm, guys. So I think we just lost you again, Jemima. So don't worry. I'll just kind of drop you out a second. What about you, George? Are you somebody that... Yeah, she's probably still talking away just there. So what do you like? Are you actually growing your hair longer at the moment?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a dirty trailer trash mullet going on. I've been inspired by Tiger King, and I'm wanting a really mullet. I love a mullet. But yeah, I do think strong shades are coming back. I do think haircuts are coming back. I don't think colours are going to be forgotten at all, because I think it's such a big thing anyway. Yeah. But I am definitely seeing a shift in interest, I think.
Yeah, right.
In terms of social media.
So I think we're going to have that a little bit tonight, Jemima. So no major. Yeah. So again, just for the viewers, you're watching, it goes a little bit unstable when we lose Jemima. That's just the internet connection then plays. So just bear with us. But we'll blame it on the thunderstorms, and let's go with that. That sounds good. A few of you are going in here. Carolina has just said, Daryl, I love this platform. I've been a member for a long time now, and it's just brilliant. And are you aware of Hairdressing Live, Jemima, the online educational platform for hairdressers?
No, I can't say. No, I'm not.
I'll tell you what then, here's a question for you. Where can we go for Afro-textured, learning more on black hair? Oh, you've gone again. Just when we thought we had you back again. I'll ask you that question. No, not at the moment. We're talking to a Skype screen. So, look, I'll tell you what. We're gonna bring you back in a minute. We're gonna head into hairdressing horror stories. Should we do that, George? So, link us all into what's going on.
Yes. So, yeah. I think we're having a hairdressing horror story today. Keep losing drama. But without further ado, I bring you this week's hairdressing horror stories. I have included a few of my own this week.
Here we go. Hairdressing horror stories.
Welcome to this week's Hairdressing Horror Stories. I cannot wait to share with you some of the stories that you have sent in. I've also included some of my own this week. So the first hairdressing horror story that we've got going is actually, I'm guilty of this one. So when we first got disposable towels in the salon, I was doing a beautiful balayage on one of my Asian clients. I actually mistook her headscarf as one of our disposable towels and actually picked it up to wipe my bleach hands all over it. And as she looked at me really strangely, I said to her, "This is your headscarf, isn't it?" And which she nodded. But actually, to this day, she is still my client. So I must have done a banging balayage that day. Now, the second hairdressing horror story, and I'm sure all of you guys can relate to this in the current climate, is actually trying to drink an espresso through my visor. Can you imagine the burn? And actually, you know what? I'm guilty of this too. My client offered me the sweet the other day, and I had my visor on and I was trying to eat it through my visor, so we're all guilty of that. My nan actually went to a village salon because she couldn't get in with me. This is not my story, this is someone else's. And they actually did a bleach and a perm all on the same day. Oh, I can imagine that was just not pretty at all. And the fourth horror story I'm also guilty for. So this is probably my favourite one, actually. It's so bad I wasn't even sure whether to feature it on the show, but I'm going to anyway. So when we opened 4 years ago, my husband David sometimes helps me with social media, and I remember he put a load of pictures of hair on our Facebook page, and this post, it was just going absolutely wild. Like, there was so many likes, so many love hearts, so many laughing faces. I just thought, what on earth? So I clicked on the post, scrolled through it, and it accidentally added a photo of Kate Middleton with her vagina out alongside all of the team's balayage and bleach work. And actually, I think to this day, it still remains one of our most popular posts. So finally, something else that I wanted to bring in to Hairdressing Horror Stories is actually looking at criminal hairdressers. So the first up tonight that I decided to take a little look into is the one and only Sweeny Todd. So here it is. Let's talk about Sweeny Todd, also known as the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. This story actually originated from France and is thought to have been talked about and sort of written in the 14th century. Now, it is the tale of the demon barber who originally had a trapdoor underneath his chair, and he used to slit his clients' throats. And then he used to send them to the bakery that his missus ran, and she used to make them into pie. Side of the shop that it was thought to have been where Sweeny Todd worked, there is actually a grate, and under the grate there is a tunnel which actually leads to the old bakery. And what Mrs. Sweeny Todd used to do is chop them up and make them into meat pies. So how gruesome is that, Pucker?
It's still going.
Oh my God, George, that's quite. I mean, I'm sitting here. Only Georgia Bell could get away with that. Kate Middleton, for goodness sake. Still your most popular post, though, eh?
Mortified, mate, mortified. But yeah, true story. But what can I say? We all make mistakes.
Oh my God, they're so entertaining. That's what we love about, the show, Jemima, is just such a mixture of, hair and laughter and fun and, I mean, there we are talking about pies, Sweeny Todd. I'm sure I've eaten a few of them at West Ham in my days, but that's another story. But I think
hair, to talk about hair and have a few jokes. Honestly, that's my idea of an ideal Monday night. Maybe I need to get out more.
Yeah, you certainly do. Nicola, just hilarious. I mean, it's always just so fun. And I mean, you was just saying that Sweeny Todd story, though, George, is a true story.
Well, yeah. Well, apparently it started out in France, but they are saying it. Some say it's true, some say it's not. I've got a lot of conflicting information, but I just wanted to provide as much as I could find. But I definitely think I'm going to make a feature of this on the hair show and look at other criminal hairdressers to bring to you on a weekly basis.
Yeah. What's Let's put? He said, "Don't reveal your age, Dom." Hey, never shy of my age. 50 in lockdown, so very happy. Far too old to be doing this stress on a Monday night, I can tell you, but it is wicked. Well, look, I mean, I love all this, and it's such a key part of everything that we do. And George will always say, bring your questions in, and if there's anything that you wanted to talk about, because she does her hairdressing horror stories and she does Breckenwood Belt. And just to remind you all that we now have Dan, who's in the comments, Dan, our incredible producer, who puts those videos together. So effectively what happens, Jemima, is George records it with Dave and they put it and then goes over to Dan and so that's what we have. But those videos are on our YouTube channel. All right, we're going to be talking a little bit about YouTube in a bit because it's actually quite relevant to my podcast that's just come out today. But if you want to go and check out any of those videos on YouTube, then please head on over on there. And what we do put on there, George, is the rock up and share, don't we? We like to put these on. So maybe again, we're going to go into this, our first one with Daryl. So maybe you could just introduce rock up and share and how people could get involved in this.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rock Up and Share is basically where we celebrate you. If you've got something cool to show, if you've got a new technique that you want to bring, it's just a short video that you can send to our producer, Dan. And we just love to feature and we love to celebrate any new techniques or ideas that you may have. So the first Rock Up and Share is actually from one of our top fans, and he's been sending us loads of amazing work. So it's with Daryl, isn't it? Stark Gethings. So I can't wait to see it. He's done a great look.
Here we go.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone, I'm Daryl Starkey Gettins, and tonight I want to show you one of the looks I created during lockdown over on Instagram that went a bit crazy, and I want to show you what I did and how I did it. So enjoy. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments and I will reply to them all. Enjoy, guys. There you go, guys. That's how I created one of my looks during lockdown. Today I've edited it a little bit. I've gave it a little bit more of a twist just because I like to always elevate and change things up. If you do have any questions about what I've done today, give me a message. But thank you all for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it.
No, Daryl. And thank you, by the way, Daryl. Daryl was my very first Patreon fan club member. He's been putting out some great shouts for me. So, Daryl, honestly, your support of everything we do never, ever goes unnoticed. And yeah, he has been talked about so often, George, throughout my podcast lately. Every time I ask everybody, they say, who do you see as a rising star? They keep, Jemima, you've gone again, but every time we drop in there. So we'll just take that out while you go there. So, you know, Daryl, we've talked about Daryl numerous times, but his name keeps coming up.
Yeah, I have to say, like, through lockdown, I think he's really pushed himself, and you've got to be respectful of that. And I think I definitely see a strength within his styling, that's for sure, you know? Yeah. And I definitely see a real, it's nice to watch people evolve. It's nice to watch people, you know, really go for it and get better and just really push the boat out. And I think he's really done that. So, yeah, big respect to him.
He has. And there's Cherie, who's coming on to my podcast soon, and another Patreon. So big shout out to you as well, Cherie. This look is amazing. Love seeing Daryl's creativity. They're actually using this bungee tape, I believe. This seems to be... Have you seen bungee tape, Jemima?
No, and I was going to ask what that was.
I've got some in my cupboard actually. It's really good. So they use it a lot. Pro Styling make it. They use it a lot in session, and it's just like a real sticky tape that you can actually do. You know, so you're not doing the elastic at session.
Okay.
You can actually use the bungee tape instead. So it's really good, and there's less harm on the hair. It's really good.
Yeah. Well, Brian's watching in Pro Styling. Amazing as always.
Gently.
Yeah, I believe so. I think the Pro Styling, so Brian, I believe, he's brought bungee tape into the UK. You can send us the commission to this, Brian, after the show. All right, there's no problem on that. But yeah, I mean, it's just, for long hair, Jemima, I think it is exactly that. It just enables you to create these amazing shapes. But again, when we were just in the green room, we were just talking about rock up and share. I have had no hairdressers come on yet that have done natural textured black afro hair.
Oh, we've got to change that, Dom.
Come on.
There's so many stylists out there, honestly, doing their thing, and obviously in the way with social media now, and everyone's moving on to TikTok and showing off their skills. So no, I think we've got to make a drive and
right, I'll tell you what you can do then, Jemima, and I don't want to particularly just pick on sort of black afro textured hair, because you're a lady of colour and that's what you feel you should do, and we're ticking, but I think it is good to educate us a little bit on who should we be looking out for in terms of names. Is there anybody that maybe we should look to for education?
I mean, for the education, there are certainly a few seasoned stylists you can go to. There's the big names in the game: Errol Douglas, Junior Green, Aijan Kamal, Rick Roberts. Rick Roberts, I have to say, is a fresh, exciting talent that's come onto the scene.
It feels to me that Rick Roberts has been around a huge amount of times. Does it to you, George? I feel like Rick's been... I know when I, we used to host and do Hair Club Live over Chennai.
Yeah.
But Rick has, I remember identifying him as a young gun back in, sort of 7 years or so ago, and it still seems like he's making his way, George.
Yeah, I think it's, do you know what? I just think any of the industry stuff can be a tough game, and you've got to, the more you put yourself out there, the more you learn, and the less you know. So it's one of those things, isn't it? So, but I think Rick's good. I think Rick's exciting as well.
I've got to.
Oh, sorry.
No, go on, Jemima. No, you carry on.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to get in there, as you asked, the younger stylists, because it's so important to give them a mention and a shout out. And there's, again, I have to say, a long list, so I'll keep it brief, but some of the exciting names and salons even. There's one called Think Pretty. They do amazing wigs, weaves, colourings on point, do the latest trends that are out. As well as you've got Nathaniel Chambers. Now, he was the Afro stylist on X Factor. I believe it was probably a couple of years ago, if not last year. He's great on cut and colour, and he's entered British a few times now this year.
So this is so good. You're mentioning names because, and by the way, Emma's just, I flagged it up. Hi Emma, and thank you for becoming a Patreon too, Emma. Love your support. Love Lisa Farrell's work. You know, here's another. She's very into this. But I do feel we need to start getting ourselves all more educated on, you know, who are the hairdressers? Because sometimes the usual names keep getting put forward. And I know a good friend of mine, Jez Barnett, he's looking for somebody, you know, an up-and-coming hairdresser who really specialises.
Do you know what, Tom? I think it's about really going grassroots. And I'd honestly say if someone is looking for fresh talent, do you know what? Take a walk down Peckham High Street, go down Hackney Central, and pop your head into the salons and see what they're doing. Because again, that is where they are. There's another great salon I'd just like to squeeze in. It's a concept salon of sorts called Peckham Palms, and be it that they've got different chairs that they hire out, and each stylist has their own specialist skill that you would book in with. So for instance, if you want braids, if you want to weave, you've got your go-to person. But they're actually fantastic because they do a lot of community work as well. They hold exhibitions, they have events, again, to educate, to bring people together. So that's definitely one to look out for as well.
And Lucy, and again, I keep saying thank you because they've all become Patreons, and Lucy too is supportive. Thank you, Lucy, your support's brilliant. She was just saying, I was thinking exactly the same. My mother-in-law is Trinadian, and I haven't a clue how, let me just bring that up again, Lucy, how to do her hair, but I want to learn. George, so many of us want to learn.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that now's the perfect opportunity for us to, to start learning more. I think you never stop learning, but I think it can be a frightening thing if we're not used to textured hair as much. It can just be quite frightening, So you need to have that. You need to have that around, and you need to be taught it. I feel, because I would like to. I mean, it's not only later on this month. I've actually got curly girl coming to teach me in my salon, teaching me how to do the curly girl method, because we don't see many natural curls in Rotherham High Street, but it's definitely something that we want to be able to tackle and offer.
And that's it. I mean, with the current climate and with what's going on with Black Lives Matter and so on, and be it that the support is so much more inclusive these days, I do think it's a great time for in hairdressing where, if we open it up a bit more and not be so segregated in some respects, and have it that, yes, European salons are learning the Afro hair techniques and vice versa.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've got to do it. But what worries me about all of this, Jemima, and I had this call with you, and we spoke really openly, and there've been a few things sort of talked about, but you kind of did say it, and I think you were so right, that we as an industry are very good at ticking boxes at the right time, and then because we feel we should do. But you said it should just be interwoven, and not just always making a feature and then it all gets forgot about again. This has got to be regular. Just continue.
That's the dream. But
will it happen?
I hope so. I think we're on the right path to that being the case. And I think I might have said to you at the time that it's for the generations to come that they'll reap the rewards of where this is all going. But at the moment, I will say, it does come over as a bit of box ticking, because
I just feel. I just get a bit irritated by it. Like, Jemima, I wanted you to come onto the show, not just because we're ticking. We feel, we have to have a lady of a colour on here because we're doing the right thing. But I just feel, George, that it's suddenly everywhere, and it's great, Jemima. There's nothing that's great, but I just feel, we better do think about this now.
It's being forced down your throat sometimes.
A little bit. I mean, it's such a sensitive subject, and it's.
Well, again, it's always interesting to just see again how the market responds, how the brands responds, because I'll never forget when Rihanna came out with Fenty, and it was the 50 Shades. She was the first to do that. She was pioneering. And I tell you what, months later, every day, getting in your inbox, this brand's come out with 30 shades, this brand's come out with 50 shades, this brand's come out with 150 shades. And, you can just start to see where it can become a bit of a bandwagon, and be it whether, do you believe their sincerity, And again, it can be the same with hairdressing. I'll go out on a limb and say, I have sort of seen this, the token, you've got the token mixed race girl with the big curls. And I want to go on the record and say that's not always a true reflection of everyone's hair type and hair texture. It comes in many guises, many shapes and forms, and I really think there needs to be a push. Right.
And sorry, George, well, we've got Jemima here tonight. I know we're sort of talking a lot to Jemima just on this, but again, without naming the brand, you did speak to me about a time, was it you went for perming and they were taking photos? Can you share that or not?
Yeah.
Don't name.
Names.
No names.
Yeah. Really going to refrain from naming names. But it's one everyone knows. But it was a press event, and they had a new product that was curly hair based. It was a co-wash of sort, and they invited journalists and bloggers and influencers along, and we all had our time slot. So when I rocked up, I could see the hairdresser was finishing off, whoever was before me. Beautiful girl, beautiful hair, beautiful big coily curls, and after her appointment, everyone was cooing over her and taking pictures, and it was great. I mean, honestly, she was beautiful. But be it that, when I got my hair done, and my hair is what you would describe as coarse, and it's in the category of 4A to 4C. Sorry, I won't get too technical. But it's afro hair. Yeah, it's not no defined curl. Guys, I'm wearing a wig tonight, so this is not my hair. It's not the true texture. If you want to see it, it's on your first episode when I did the review, Dom.
That's right.
Of the Rev Hair.
Yeah.
But ultimately, when I got my hair done, when I finished, they didn't take any pictures. They didn't give any compliments. It wasn't the desired texture. It wasn't the hair that gets the love and adoration, which as a I'm 35
I think
years old,
since you told me that story, Jemima, I have been looking, George, at this kind of, and I think brands do tend to go for this very stereotypical mixed race girl who's got the beautiful spiral cut, but yet so many ladies of colour have really frizzy hair, isn't it? I mean, it's it's almost. And again, they have, it has been addressed. It has been big topics of conversation. And some are introducing now more of the, what I would just say, a bit more of the true Afro textured hair, and be it that you are seeing darker skin models, you are seeing models with their natural hair, it's not being overly manipulated to create a curl that isn't true to their own. Oh, lots of colds tonight, eh, George?
Yeah, it's just about being inclusive, isn't it? Like, it's just about including everybody in.
No, it's fantastic.
I think it's really interesting,
Look, we've talked about Kate's vagina, so hey, we're lighting things up already. So hey, it's nice to go heavy. Well, look, we're going to move things on, and as you know, I've been doing the How to Cut It podcast, and I'm proud of where that is. And recently, I've actually started to video the podcast. So actually you can see the videos, and Patreons can get to view these videos which we're doing. And the first one I done was last week, and it's actually today's podcast. But I wanted to drop this in just around about 2 minutes. It's my interview with James Atkinson, The Life of Hair. Now, George, you're quite interested in YouTube, aren't you? Making a mark in YouTube?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's another platform it's a minefield, but I'm definitely up for giving it a good old go.
Okay, right. So James talks about how he has become one of the UK's most successful YouTubers. I mean, over 1 million downloads now, 30,000 subscribers. So I was really keen to learn. But what was interesting was he kind of wanted to just go away from this very traditional entering awards, competition, spending lots of money to fellowship. And this is what he said, his thoughts on this. So this is a take from this podcast that's out today. So let's just go into that, guys, and we'll come back on this.
I looked at this and I thought to myself, right, so what was good about these people that then went on to be big educators that did this, that did that, that did this? So I started looking into their careers specifically, and I really started drilling into where they went. And then for me, it was all exposure led. It was like, okay, so they had either then gone to an agency or somebody that represented them and got them in a magazine that got them this, and their profiles started to grow and grow and grow. And I thought to myself, well, some people are doing this with social media anyway. So that's where the Instagram idea came from. That is where the initial Instagram idea came from. But then I was still toying with the BHA idea, but I had this budget set to one side. And I was like, right, so what I'll do is I don't fancy the BHAs because, it's too hit and miss. I can plow all that effort and energy and finances into YouTube and create something on YouTube that is really, really a go-to place for people to learn something, discover something, jog their memory, whatever it is, and that's then how the journey started. So the very first YouTube video I ever did, if anyone wants to go and watch it, it's still on my channel because I'm actually very proud of it, although it's not a very amazing video.
Maybe
I walked down the road.
We can put a link of that into the shows, James.
Yeah,
that would be great. We can send people going.
Definitely go and watch that.
We'll give the links later for your listeners.
Yeah, 100%. Go back and see that, because I go back when I find a big person that I'm following. I watch loads of other channels other than the Hairdressers, but even Matt Beck, even Sam Beer, I go back and watch their very early videos, the earliest ones I can find on their channels, because it's great to see where people came from. It's great to see where Matt Beck came from, and I love then it makes it all feel a little bit more tangible and realistic. And I've only started doing that in the last 6 months, actually. Even though I'm up in my production game and whatever. So I did this first video. I walked down the road and I'm vlogging away, and I'm like, hi, I'm James Atkinson, and I'm hairdresser in Brighton, and I want to start a YouTube channel, and it's going to be about this, 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 and this. And actually, it's about probably only one of those things, really, because I discovered on the journey of making videos what I was about, what I was meant to do as a teacher, educator, what I was supposed to share with people. And that was tutorials. That was people's breaking down information for people to understand. And so, that's really then become the foundations of, probably everything that I do. Yeah, it is the foundation.
Now, I think that's a really strong topic. I don't say it because of the podcast, but actually what I love about this, Jemima, and George particularly, who's an educator, is James talks about YouTube. And I think what's really interesting, you asked me at the start of the show, didn't you? You said, how is he making money? How's he making money? Well, James actually in that podcast, and the Extra Show podcast, talks about how he will be going full time with this probably in the next 12 months. That's what he reckons. And he talks how YouTube has really taken his career, honestly, to a level that I don't think you could get from an Instagram, because he's got people in America. He's now getting booked as an educator around Europe. He's making good money from AdSense, Patreon. Why are we still shying away from YouTube and we're going the conventional routes, which is competitions, George? an
I,
award.
don't know, I think it's just the classic kind of British. We stick to what we know, don't we? That's you know. But I definitely think it's definitely a way. I think it's definitely a platform that could go big. I think it is a very YouTube is when you look at a lot of what's available on YouTube. It is very American. It's very big, and I think I don't know. It's culturally it can just be quite scary and intimidating. But it's definitely something I'd get into. But I'm so busy on social media anyway. It's
But
like
this is my
another thing.
point, George and Jemima. My point is that we're all busy on the same platform. And actually, James talks that it kind of just gets lost on social. You post it, but it's very disposable, isn't it? You put your Instagram stories, but YouTube, it is there. People, it's your biggest search engine after Google. And people are going in there wanting advice on hair and knowing how to work it. The rewards are huge. I mean, AdSense alone, Jemima. I mean, I think you get about 5 pence per ad once you start getting so many views.
I mean, I can't pretend that YouTube has been a splinter in my rib cage for many, many years now because, it's wiping the floor with magazines, once upon a time where, you've got your pictures showing step 1 to 5 of the cutting stage and then the finished result, and now you can, go onto YouTube and see it all live, see it all happening. And that's great and that's wonderful. And again, I'm all for things happening, and it's important to keep up with the times. What I would just say as just a point of interest and something that I've picked up on is that when you're working with influencers or when you approach, again, influencers, bloggers, hair, beauty, fashion, and you'll say you're from a magazine, they're like, oh my God, great. I want to get in because they haven't been in print. There's a beauty about being in
print,
We are losing that, aren't we? We are. I still say your your photo collection is like an album. It's a beauty, and then you want that to be played, and getting that on a magazine is real good kudos, isn't it? I guess for you as a hairdresser.
Yeah, it's a fab feeling that.
Have you had yours in print at all, George? Any of your work? Have you?
Oh, I've had a few bits, and it's like it's lovely. You know what? When you get that magazine through the door, and you think, oh, blooming hell, that's me. That's my work. It's fab. It's a fab feeling.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull in this question here, and this comes in. It's a big one, so it's going to take up a big part of the screen. But it comes from Emma. She says, "I feel I wanted to go that route. I'm becoming known. I'd rather YouTube. I find competitions are all about the bigger names." I'm going to have to bring that back up again. So let me just bring this up because it is what I wanted to hear. I may be wrong, but I feel the normal everyday hairdresser that hasn't a name for themselves haven't much chance in competitions. Yes, they can create a name through lots of hard work. That's what James was talking about, Jemima. That's what he was talking about. He found that it was the same circle of people, and he was talking about the fellowship in this part. And I'm a massive fan of the fellowship, but there seems to be this same kind of circle that's appearing and there's nothing wrong with that. They are incredible hairdressers. I'm such a fan, George, but it seems to be a repeating names going on. Where YouTube, it's you and your camera streaming. We're all here, and we're not having to rely on magazines. No disrespect here, George, to be putting our work out there. We can put it out there ourselves.
No, you're right. I've had the same conversations for the past few years now. The younger hairdressers, they just cannot compete with the bigger names. They've got the budget, they've got the PR backing, and I'm going to say that, it's sort of, there used to be a time that competitions, fresh talent would come out of it, but it's sort of slowed down, and those who are, the heavyweights in the industry just seem to dominate the limelight. And so the youngsters are having to go to the other channels, Instagram, TikTok, to make a name for
it's either that or, bring some new categories. Bring some fresh categories that actually, why do you have to be 35 to get into the fame team?
I agree. We talk about that as well in this podcast, George. And my good friend there, Paul Aristides, hug stylist, great for gear, by the way. Do you see the same? You do see the same names each year for the British Hairdresser Awards, for example. All brilliant, but. And I've spoken to Jane about this, and Jane's very aware, but, you know, be picked before announcing. All brilliant, but it can be picked before announcing. It's a bit predictable, is what Paul's saying. George, is this something you agree with?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it can be a little bit predictable, and you can look at people's work, and you can almost tell somebody's work. That's my child at my door.
Sounds like George's horror stories. I tell you what we'll do. I love this. Honestly, this is live show, Jemima audience. George, her children, she needs to put them in hairdressing horror stories. So glad my lads saw. But look, that leads me on perfectly. I think this is a great conversation. We really are going deep into conversation tonight, and I hope you're all enjoying this and keeping these comments coming in. I think it's what makes me really love this show, Jemima, is seeing that. But hair is a big thing, and we're going to go into our next rock up and share, and this comes from a real regular of the show. He's cutting, you all love his work, and that's why I've invited him back to share another haircut. So I'm delighted to welcome into rock up and share Jack Mead. So check this haircut out, it is divine. God, what a great haircut again, George. A real signature one of Jack.
Yeah, absolutely love it. I love the colour placement with it as well. I think it's really beautiful shape.
Now, Jack, are you doing a YouTube channel? If Jack May done a YouTube channel, I think he'd do really well with that. You know, again, I'd love to see the channels. I think I really struggle. I think of Austin Thompson, Paul Watts, Matthew Watt, James. Obviously, some of our viewers are here. I know Cherie started that. So come on, let's get more involved. And I've chuckled. I've seen this comment come in. She's come and joined us. Lisa, how you doing? Just been told to log on. Big up, Jem. Who's told you were on the show then, Lisa? Somebody mentioned it to you, didn't they? I bet they said, oh, you've been mentioned on the hair show. You should have been tuning in right from the start. You've been missing out for the last 10 weeks, Lisa, let me tell you. This is a show you all need to be coming to. This is the place. Lynette has said this shape is reels and reels. So, yeah, wicked. I mean, great stuff going on there. Yeah, perfectly going. I mean, so we have our competitions that go on. Let me just alter my ears around a bit here. And this week we've got a big competition. I've just got a little bit of a delay on this computer, so we're just going to hold on. So actually, George, don't mention it too much. I've just got that. You know that colour wheel of death? If you have a Mac, it means it's yeah, I've got one of those going on now on that screen. So yeah, I mean, where would you like to get there? No, it's still doing it, but that's okay. So come on, yeah. Let's
shall I announce this week's competition
announce
winner?
it, and we'll see if that will there it goes. It's sorted itself out now. So
okay, so we had a fantastic prize this week from Robert, and it is a pair of his E-blade scissors. So thank you for the amazing prizes, and the winner is Mr. Simon Tuckwell.
Yeah, let's give him that round of applause. Come on, I love all those noises. Congratulations, yes. The bearded warrior, Simon Tuckwell. I believe Simon's going to... You watch, he'll suddenly pop up in the comments. I bet somebody goes and mentions it to him. They'll say, oh, Simon, you've just been mentioned on the hair show. It'll be like, hey, you should all be watching from the start, not waiting for your name to be mentioned. That's what I say. But that E-blade, Jemima, is... yeah, it's wicked, isn't it? But Robert Muscovy has created, and
yeah, it's brilliant way. It's a brilliant scissor. It teaches you to hold it completely different. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so we haven't got a competition for you this week because, to be honest, we've just been sitting on it. We're working out how we want to go with the competitions because brands are getting so much from this, and I think that's what we want to do. It's a great way for us to work with brands, and certainly to help us support our show, which is really growing and being part of it. So to get these sort of brands coming in is really cool. So we're going to move things along. Actually, again, we're going to see part 2 of the how-to from Paul Davey. So if you want a bit more hair, we're going to just jump straight into this. Here we go, Paul Davey's part 2 how-to.
So moving on to the fringe area. So you take a triangle section and you take a section through to the recession on both sides. If you go beyond that point, you can run into difficulties as you're cutting into the side hairline, which doesn't really complement or sit well for the guest. We've just done a nice little curved modern 60s fringe, which is very, very popular and suits a wide variety of face shapes. Before I blow dry my client's hair, I'm going to be using the Techniart Pli, wonderful product. It's a lovely setting lotion. It's suited for all hair types. So moving on to this quick blow drying technique, we're going to create this lovely S-shape feel going through the sides of the head and create a little bit of movement going through the back. What's important here is that you blast a lot of the hair away. And once it starts drying, what you're going to do is start lifting the hair away from the head. You can start seeing this lovely little bend create. What I'm going to do is get 1 or 2 sections done for you, and then you're going to see me blow dry the rest of the hair a little bit quicker. So here we are at the finished look. After blow drying, it's given us that lovely shiny S shape just by using your fingers. It's a very easy technique to use, very quick on the salon floor. It can be done on a wide variety of hair types, but the only one it doesn't really work on is really curly hair as such, because you need to smooth curly hair out. But straighter hair, slightly wavy hair, it really works very well. So just to recap, we started with our baseline. We took a center parting from center forehead right the way through to center nape. I took 2 diagonal forward sections from the first section out towards the ear. combed the hair, natural hair fall, and kept it square to the back of the head. I cut the hair blunt and worked my way from the center out to the ends. I worked my way up in diagonal forward sections, all the way up to the top of the head, and over directed it all back to my square baseline. The layer, we took a vertical profile section from the crown right the way through to the nape and elevated it 90 degrees from the crown to the occipital bone, and then from the occipital bone to the nape got over directed up to that 90-degree angle. We pivoted around in radial sections, keeping our elevation exactly the same all the way through to the side until we reached the ear. From the ear up to the front hairline, we took diagonal forward sections and over directed back up onto our previous section. The same repeated on the opposite side. With the blow dry, we used our fingers to create an S shape. We used the air from the hairdryer to create a dent. As the nozzle penetrates into the hair, you're lifting it back up again, creating heat in this area, letting the hair cool to create this lovely little S shape. And you do the same just underneath it. It's a very quick technique to use on the salon floor, very, very popular. This is seamless layering technique.
Oh, Paul, Davey, thank you so much for coming on and doing that. Wouldn't you all agree? Absolutely stunning look. I love how he finished that as well with that grey. But you were just sort of saying there about his voice. But that was such an enjoyable, lovely haircut to watch. I was just sat there watching it with you all. Very, very calming, as many as you said. What did you think then, George?
I just loved it, and like it kind of backs up what we were saying earlier, doesn't it? About the more layered cuts coming in, the 70s kind of vibe, a little bit more modernised. I love it, and I think there is going to be a lot more natural texture and sort of waves and bends, and I like that. I really am enjoying the natural movement in the hair celebrated. There's
a natural movement. I actually think that look that he just shared there, Jemima, I don't know if you could see it, Jemima, actually, the look, because I
did.
Did you see it? It's just a very commercial look, I feel, that I can imagine girls who've got longer hair that would maybe think, yeah, I'd like that.
But what I loved about it also was that, you can clearly have it as a casual look and then dress it up at night time. You can carry it through on
Do you wear wigs
occasion.
with fringes? Do you go with fringes?
Do you know what? I do, and I'm going to have one cut in a couple of weeks' time.
Actually cut in?
Yeah, I'll cut.
Dun, dun, dun.
When was the last? They're big commitments, aren't they? Fringes. They are one of those things. I mean, it seems to be a thing that you women love to do by changing something. A fringe is such a big change to a hairstyle, isn't it?
It is, and as Jordana said earlier, I like as well face framing hairstyles, and I haven't had one for a while, so fancy trying one out fairly soon.
Yeah, no, big time. What are you actually growing your fringe out? Lynette just said, and hi Lynette, thank you again for becoming a Patreon, really appreciate it. I love finger drying the hair. You're growing your hair again then, George? Because I quite like the shorter look, but where are you going with it? I'm interested to know what you're aiming towards and how you're going to get there.
I don't know. I think Damien Johnson will tell you in a few weeks when I fly to Ireland and get my haircut by him, actually. But no, I just want a bit more longer through the back, bit more disconnection. And then I don't know. I fancy just a bit of a mullet, I think.
Yeah, you do kind of go with this. I've just seen this comment coming here from Emma. Let me just bring that up. What she put here? Fringe plus visor equals my biggest mistake this year so far.
Bless you.
That is very interesting, actually, isn't it?
Factor the visor in.
We didn't talk about the visors, did we? In Jordana's news story, she was sort of saying that there is this kind of wearing the mask and visor. I mean, I feel like we've been talking about this forever. I have to say though, the idea of wearing a visor and a mask is just entrapment. The suffocation that you feel, I've got to be honest, and it will make our job so miserable.
As well.
Huh?
if you wear glasses as well, I could just imagine the condensation.
Yeah, it really, yeah. I mean, it's a tough one. But look, guys, we're now coming to the end of the show, and I just want to remind you all that are watching this, please keep telling everybody about the show. We have so much planned for the hair show. I mean, I think it is so exciting what we're doing here, and we need to get you involved. That I can't say. So George, come on, give a shout out, getting people involved in, rock up and shares.
Absolutely. Yeah, just anything that you've got, guys, that we are happy to look at any of your ideas, any of your suggestions, any of your work. This is all about you, and we do really want to celebrate. We've talked about bigger names in the industry constantly getting recognised. This really is about celebrating the everyday hairdresser and the amazing work that's happening every single day in every salon, whether it's a village, a town, a city. Let us be the reason that we celebrate you guys.
I've brilliantly put. And this is your first time involved with the hair show, and I know you're part of our team, Jemima. You've done that review, which was fantastic, and you've been on. And the first time you've come and co-hosted, I've been sort of always saying, come on, love you. When Jordana's not about, because she's in Cyprus having a wonderful time. Jordana, look, have you found it being part of the show once your Skype settled down?
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you invited me back on. It's been such a joy and pleasure to just talk through what's going on out there in the industry, and just where things are going in the near future, because again, we are in some unprecedented times, and
we are. Do you know what though? I do feel we are starting to get ourselves gradually into the swing of things now. I know we're talking and we hear so much negativity, but I do feel quite positive actually going forward. And I'm probably going to talk about the industry because it's the hair show, but I can see people are getting stuck back into their creativity and starting to really get excited by what they're doing again, rather than focusing on PPE. I'm noticing comments coming in are and not really focused around it. I think we've all out-talked all that aspect. I mean, it's an exciting time. So we're going to say goodbye to you, Jemima. So, but just give a shout out to your magazine, and could people get in touch with you? How can they work with you? Find out more what you're all doing.
So it's Spell Magazine. We're on all the usual social media channels: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Is that at Spell Magazine? Is that the
at Spell Magazine? Yep, all one word. Spell SPELL. We've got I have to say we're print and a digital magazine. We stopped printing during lockdown, and we've only just gone back to print this month. So the August issue, it's out now. If you head over to spellmagazine.co.uk, you can click on and take a gander. But if I could also just use this time, Dom, to also just give a quick call out to hairdressers. If you're shooting, if you've got exciting work, projects going, I'd love for you to get in touch with the magazine, and we can do a feature. If you've got any images, we're always looking.
And just DM you on, as George would say, just slide into.
Just DM me on Instagram, and I will get back to you. Or you can go via the website. Just hit the contact tab, and we'll get through.
Fantastic. Well, look, I'm going to say goodbye to you, Jemima. Thank you so much for coming on. I've really enjoyed your company tonight. You've been amazing.
Thanks,
and you'll be coming on, I'm sure, many more times when the girls drop out. And I don't know who's going to come and sit this side when I drop out and control all this stuff. So there's going to be a big question for one of you. But thank you, Jemima, and you stay safe. You sit in the green room, and we'll come and join you and have a little chat after. All right?
Nice one. Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
So, George, how you found tonight then? I mean, a hot night, a lot of people out there in the gardens. We've got some lovely comments coming in.
Really
the community, isn't the community growing nice around the show?
Yeah, it's going fantastic. And I'm really enjoying, all of the conversations that we have, all of the topics that we bring up. Again, like I said, guys, if you've got any suggestions of what you want us to talk about, then send them away. Every week, I need your brekkie with bells. I need your hairdressing horror stories. Just exciting times.
It is, and I just want to say this. Look, this is all our own time. None of us get paid for this. It's, this is all our own time that we give. And, we're very happy to do that, but we would love some support out there now. I think the show is ready. We're strong enough. We're not going anywhere. We've got great things, and the hair show live event is going to happen. And I keep saying it, but I'm going to say it's going to happen. So the community around it, and be part of this, and let's get the industry pumped up. We're a new breed here. We're doing things differently, and that's how we are in anything we ever do within the How to Cut It brand. We want to mix things up. We don't want to go to norm. All right, we're not magpies. We actually set the trends of where we're going to go with this. So be great. But look, George, and just before you drop out, George, I know you've got a course, haven't you, currently going on that you'd like to give a shout out?
I've decided that actually in November and in January I've got 2 balayage courses happening within my salon. So we've got there's 14 places, but actually there's going to be less than that now because people have taken the tickets. But if anyone wants to learn some really quick freehand and foliage balayage techniques that basically help to retain your balayage clients all year round, then slide into my DMs and get some more info.
All right, George. Well, look, thank you so much, George. I'm going to just do our proper farewells, and we're going to end with a TikTok in a minute. So take care, George, and we'll see you next week. All right.
Bye.
So another belting show, and again the comments. So I'm going to be flagging up some of these comments that are coming in here at the end, and I'm going to put it into the TikTok. But look, it's just such a pleasure to do these shows. I can't keep saying that enough, and it's without doubt probably the thing that we all look forward to. But if you want to get involved with the How to Cut It, I'm going to give a big shout out for it, but I have launched the Patreon fan club, and this is going to help me really grow this and to be able to do this for all us guys that are doing it. And I have big plans for How to Cut It, but it takes up a lot of our time, and I need your support. And many of you are here tonight: Lynette, Lucy, Emma, Daryl, Cherie, who have all given their support to the show. And as much as £3, that's all a month. I think for the time that we put into it, come and get involved. We've got extra shows going on. You're going to be part of my think tank. You're going to help me work towards, the hair show summer weekender. We are going to do that, but I need to get to a certain target for it, and I'd like you guys to be part of the team. If you're interested in the podcast that I've just done today, launched with James Atkinson, go and hear it. It's absolutely fantastic. How to Cut It on the site there. It's on all your podcast providers, and go and have a listen to it. Give me your feedback. And if you want to become a Patreon member, very easy, patreon.com/howtocutIt. £3 tier a month, £6, £10, it doesn't matter how much or little you want to spend. Just give me your support for it, and it really will keep us in this studio, keeps the lights turned on, and all that amazing things. So I value and appreciate all of you, and I know we do. It's a pleasure to be able to do this for you every week. I love it without doubt. So thank you. Have a great week. Tell all your colleagues, friends about what we're doing. We need to get yourselves and more people here every week. This show deserves time and attention. So we are going to finish with our TikToks. I'm going to flag up your comments. So until next Monday, peace, love and smiles all the way. Goodbye.
Next, please. Skin fade, mate, no worries, no dramas, come right up. I'll tell you, you're going to be looking like, I'll tell you what, after this, actually, David Beckham's brothers, sisters, daughters, aunties, friends, mums, mates, son.
I have a natural brunette hair here. She has never had any hair color, so completely natural. And I am taking 3 different strands to show you guys what bleach looks like with 10 volume, 30 volume, and 40 volume. So why did I not use 20 volume? Simply because I just didn't have it. So I went with 10 volume, 30 volume, and 40 volume. I want to show you guys exactly what this looks like. I'm not going to use any heat, and I'm just going to let these sit for about an hour. They're probably going to be very gold, but I'd love to show you guys what it looks like in the raw state, without toner, without purple shampoo. If you guys ever have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I am always here for you guys. Check you back either tonight or tomorrow morning. Bye.